So now if you want to do a shoulder that's princess style line, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to divide your shoulder line, whatever you have there, you divide it by 2. I have 5 inches, I'll divide by 2, I have 2.5. I'll connect this all the way to my bust line, like so. Can you see that? Connect it all the way to my bust line. So what I can easily do is transfer my bust dart to the shoulder line dart. It becomes a basic for me that way. Okay? But if you're making a bustier, for a bustier that is strapless without any sleeve and the rest, you'll be doing an over bust tightening because you want that dress to stick to your skin as glue. Yes, that's on your upper bust area. So I'm going to make a video on how to go about that, but let's stick to what we are here for. So if you've not seen our basic bodice video, that's how to draft a basic bodice pattern using your own measurement, you can check the description link below. I've dropped a link and you can click on that link to watch it. So in this video, we're going to see how to make a dart transfer. Yes, taking our bust dart to the shoulder line dart. Now to do this, all you have to do is, first of all, reconnect this dart line to your bust line. Now because we didn't cut through our pattern, we're not going to cut through our pattern when we drafted the basic bodice. Yes, that's why we stopped 1 inch away from the bust line, at the bust point rather. That's why we stopped 1 inch away from the bust line, because this will be sewn rather than being cut through. But for a dart transfer, you will need to cut through a dart, open another dart before it can be transferred. So therefore, we are going to cut through the bust dart. And to cut through the bust dart, you cannot stop here. You have to cut all the way to your bust line. Therefore, you have to reconnect the dart leg. You have to reconnect the dart leg. Okay? So after reconnecting that dart leg, you want to make sure that it is equal with what we have here for our truing. So we trued this line, okay? And what we have for this line is 6.5 inches. You're going to make sure you have the same thing for the upper point, 6.5. Let's be sure. 6.5. I want to make sure I have the same 6.5 all the way from the bust. You can see that the truing is still on point, so I'll just leave it the way it is. It is just smaller than the truing we did earlier, so it's not going to be affected. If it was more than what we did, then I'll have to add that up before cutting through. So making sure that the truing is okay and I've connected all the way to my bust point, we are going to cut. So to cut, I'm going to start from here because I need to close this dart to open up this shoulder line dart. So I'm going to cut from here. So cut on your line. Cut on your line. Okay. Then you're going to cut open this dart leg to close it up. So remember, the red line is what we're following now, because it goes all the way to the bust point, right? So you stop on the bust point there, then you come over to, can you turn this so I can cut it to the shoulder line. Okay. And you cut all the way to the bust point also. Now you're going to cut a little bit away from that bust point so the pattern do not separate from each other. So let's take this back. Okay. You want to make sure that the pattern does not separate. At this point, you can see it's still in place there. So we're going to go ahead and close this. Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see? Close this. You can hold this down with your paper tape Okay, or you use your glue. Um, which one? Let me use my glue. Easier. So I just put my glue. Okay. So you can use your paper tape if you don't want to use glue. So I'm closing this bust guard now. Seems like I didn't cut this very well. Okay. So this way, we have successfully transferred our bust dart to the um, shoulder line dart. At this point, you can go ahead and trace this out on your pattern trace it out on another paper to alter it and do whatever you want with it. So, as I said before, you can have a cut out dart. You can cut out your dart, or you can sew it in as you make your dresses. So whichever you want. So from this point now, you can cut this out. So you see the essence of transferring your main basic pattern to another paper before your adaptation and alteration is very, very, very important, so that you can still have that basic intact at all times. So as we're going to cut through, if you're going to cut through this place also, it's advisable you connect the dart all the way to that point, like so. So you can have a straight line when you're cutting. So if you're cutting through, this is what I said earlier in our previous videos. If you watched our basic pattern drafting video, you would hear me say that there. Okay, so that when you cut from here, cutting out your dart all the way, you'll be able to have a straight cut like so. So it won't be all confusing to you by the time you're sewing. Remember, we're following the red line. Okay. Okay. So right here, we've cut out the dart of our waist, and we've closed the dart of the side. And at the end of the day, we have a princess style line, shoulder princess style line. You know we have armhole princess style line also, right? So this is the shoulder princess style line. So you can see that this is the bust point. I want to make sure that is marked out. Now for the back. Most times during all this alteration and adaptation, it's usually the front that takes most of the job. The back usually don't have much to do unless you're changing the shoulder line or the or the armhole or the neckline. Basically here is left this way. Depends on what it still boils down to what you're working with. So what you want to make still boils down to what you want to make. So if, for example, I am making a princess style line that is a cut through princess style line like this, and I don't want to cut through my back pattern, is that possible? Yes, very, very possible. You can decide not to cut through your back pattern. You can decide to sew in the dart while making the dress. That can still work. You can also decide to eliminate the dart. That can still work. Depends on what you want to have as your end result. It all depends on your creativity. It all boils down to your creativity. So you can see how I'm cutting that now. And this is it. And remember our new line here. Yes, we're done. So now, whether you're sewing in or you are cutting through your dart, at the end of the day, your side seam will match up. You can see it's matching up now. You can see it's matching up now from what we have here. And you can see the whole pattern all lays flat and nice from what we have here also. Can you see this? So right here is the shoulder princess style line for adapted from your basic bodies. Now, can you also add a shoulder princess style line for the back? Yes, very, very possible. All you have to do is look for the midpoint here. Look for the midpoint like we did for the front. Okay. So like I said, you can decide to do a sewn in dart if that's what you prefer. So you mark the midpoint here. Then you're going to connect this all the way to your armhole line. Connect it all the way to the armhole line. Then you're going to mark your darts. Okay, extend your darts to that point, because at this point now we are about to cut through. Remember, once you're going to cut through, you need to extend to the points where you left behind. So we left 1 inch downward from the armhole line for the back, and the bust line, if you can remember, we left 1 inch from the bust area, but we reconnected it back to the bust line. Now you have to do the same thing to the back, reconnect it back to the armhole line. Okay, then also the same thing applies here. You reconnect all the way to your length, because we're cutting through. Okay, connect all the way to your length. So after the reconnection, that's all you cut out. So I'll just blend this out. Blend here. So that's the shoulder line. That's for the back. So that means you're cutting through, you're cutting out your darts. Okay, and this also. Okay, so by the time you take in your darts, you're going to have a well-fitted dress at this point. And this is it, guys. We are done. It's very, very simple to go about. Very simple, very simple. I hope you love this video. Give the video a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.